Welcome back, everyone. Today we're going to be upcycling a pair of jeans into a slouchy denim shoulder bag. It's a great way to recycle your old pants. It's also super easy to do, so if you're new to sewing, you should have no problem following the easy step-by-step tutorial. With all that being said, let's get started. Getting started with supplies, you'll need one pair of pants, and you can use any style of pants for this project. I'm using a pair of wide denim cargo pants. This is going to give me a little bit more material to work with, but that extra material is not necessary. You can still do this project with a standard pair of pants. The biggest advantage is the pockets because I can utilize these within the design. But anyways, moving on to the first step, we're going to measure down about 2 to 4 inches from the center seam on the inseam. And this is where we're going to make our cut to remove both leg panels. The further you go down, the taller the bag will be, but that will result in less material to work with. And we will be utilizing the material from the leg panels, but for the moment we can place them off to the side. Next, we're going to move to the top portion of the pants and dethread the remaining inseam. And it's best to dethread it because we're trying to preserve all of the seams. Now that we have the bottom opened up, we're going to move to the center seam and dethread all the way up to the bottom of the fly. And what we're trying to do is dethread that curve so that way we can overlap the panels and the entire front sits flat. Flip it over to the back side and do the same thing, dethread the center seam up to the center of the pockets. Again, we're trying to dethread that curve so we can overlap the two sides so the back sits flat. And this is why we want those seams intact, because we're going to overlap the two sides with the seam sitting on the top. Then we're going to reuse that seam by stitching directly in the old stitch paths. So once you have it sitting flat, place a few pins and we're going to stitch directly in the old stitch paths. Flip it over to the front side and we're going to do the same thing. This side has a small raw edge at the bottom, so we're going to fold it under and place a few pins. This is a double stitch seam, so what I'm going to do is add 2 stitches. The best thing to do here is to match the thread color to the thread color that's on your pair of pants for the best results. If you don't have an exact match, something close will blend just as well. Next, we're going to clean up the bottom edge by trimming the back side flush with the front side. The bag design we're making is on an angle, so we're going to be stitching just below the rivet on the pocket to the corner of the bottom opposite side. And the reason we're doing it on this angle is because we want to avoid that rivet and also avoid the fly. You can stitch into the fly if needed, just try to avoid the zipper. So starting at either rivet, we're going to sew from the bottom of that rivet to the opposite side bottom corner. Try to make this stitch as straight as possible. It's going to be the bottom of the bag, so if there's any dips, it's going to be noticeable. After sewing, double check your work, make sure everything is nice and even, and from here we're going to move the excess fabric. And I'm cutting about a ½ inch away from the seam. Flip the right sides out, and for this next step, what we're going to be doing is pushing those sides in and sewing the corners shut, so that way we get some sort of a side panel. You can skip this step, but ultimately it gives the bag more depth, making it easier to use. Flip the bag inside out and rest it on the bottom seam. Pull the corners out so the side seams line up with the bottom seam and it's even on both sides. If done correctly, the corners should pop out and create a triangle, with both side seams lined up with the center seam. Then measure up 3 to 4 inches from the corner and draw a straight line across. Repeat this for the opposite side, and whatever measurement you made, you want it to be the same depth on both sides. So if you measured up 4 inches from the corner on one side, do the exact same thing on the opposite side. You want these to be perfectly symmetrical. Then we're going to place a few pins and stitch directly on top of the line. After finishing up the stitch, we're going to flip the right sides back out and double check both sides to make sure each side is even. As you can see, it creates a semi-side panel, and the longer that stitch is, the wider that side will be. It's also going to allow that bag to sit flat once you have items in it. That is going to complete this section of the bag for now, so for the moment we can place it off to the side and grab one of the leg panels. It doesn't matter which side, you can use the right or the left leg. We're going to be using this one to create the opposite side of the bag. Since the bag is on an angle, we want to fill in that other side. So I'll be measuring down about 12 to 14 inches and making my cut. We will be using the bottom half in future steps, but for the moment we can place it off to the side. Since I have a pocket, I'm going to center in the panel and then move to the top edge, fold the top edge inward so the right sides are together. And I'm mainly just trying to clean it up so there's not a raw edge at the top of the panel. From here, place a few pins and add a top stitch right along that edge. After finishing up the stitch, this panel is complete. Before moving on, we want to grab the bag section from the previous step and place the new panel inside the bag on the lower side. We're trying to line up the clean stitch edge somewhere in the middle so that way it's even on both sides and makes a V shape in the center. And you may need to do a little bit adjusting to that leg panel because we're trying to get the heights to line up and also the outside width. As you can see, mine starts at the center, then it wraps around the waistband to the opposite side. This creates that V shape in the center, and then the heights on both sides line up. If yours is too big or too tall, you can make adjustments by taking in the side edges or cutting off the bottom edge. And it doesn't have to fall directly in the center, just close. But for the moment, both these panels are complete, so we can place them off to the side. Next, we're going to grab the opposite pant leg, and we're going to be using this one to create the lining. Flip the panel around to the seam that does not have the double stitch. If you have a double stitch on both sides, then you can pick either or. Using a pair of scissors, cut directly up the seam, then open up the panel so the right side is facing up. Grab the bag section from the first step, flip it inside out, and line the shorter side up with the far edge of the leg panel. You want to position it in a way that when you cut it out, it's going to be one side of the lining. Since this pair of pants has a lot of fabric to work with, I'm going to cut the outside edge off and use it as a strap. If your pair doesn't have this much extra fabric, don't worry, I'm going to show you how to make a strap without using fabric. Before you cut out the lining panel, you want to make sure you give yourself enough seam allowance on the top, bottom, and side edges. The remaining pieces of the leg panel we can place off to the side, along with the main bag section. Now that we have one side of the lining cut, we're going to grab the bottom section from the previous step, flip it around to the single stitch seam, and using a pair of scissors, cut directly on the seam. Open it up and lay it out with right sides facing down. This section should be wide enough to give you your second lining panel. Lay the first panel over top and trim around the outside edge. From here, we're going to take those two sides and place the right sides together. Line up the outside edges, and we're going to stitch the sides and the bottom edge at a 1/4 inch seam allowance or whatever seam allowance you use to cut. Just don't stitch the top edge because that's going to be our opening. We are going to sew the sides to create the semi-side panels, but before we do that, we want to first make sure we have the correct circumference up top. Grab the main section of the bag and place the lining inside the bag with wrong sides together. Move it around so the side seams line up, and just double check that the circumference of the lining matches the circumference of the waistband. If your lining is too large, then all you have to do is take it in on the side seams to match the measurement of the waistband. Same goes for the height. If it's too tall, you can take it up because you don't want it to be bunchy at the bottom of the bag. But moving on to the next step, we're going to line up the side seams with the center seam, pull out the corners to create the triangles. I like to reference the measurements from the bag section so I can get identical ones on the lining. Once you're satisfied with your measurements, place your pins and stitch directly across the corner. And before moving on, you might want to just double check it to make sure it lines up with your bag section. But anyways, from here we're going to grab the bag section along with the side panel section from the second step. The first thing we're going to do is place the side section in the bag along the lower side, lining the top up in the center just like we did when we were testing out the panel. Place multiple pins along the outside edge along the waistband. You will want to place a lot because we're sewing all these layers at once. Make sure the side section is lined up correctly so the bag is symmetrical. When you're satisfied with the alignment, we're going to open up the bag and place the lining inside. Make sure the wrong sides are together and line up the side seams of the bag with the side seams of the lining. And what we're going to do is roll the top edge of the lining over and line it up with the top edge of the waistband. This will create a clean edge at the top of the opening. And keep doing this all the way along the waistband. It's a little bit tricky when you get to the lower side of the waistband, so you have to open up the bag and roll it over and check on both sides to make sure the waistband is lined up with the lining. And the best thing that you can do here, since you're stitching blind, is place a lot of pins, and this will ensure that everything is lined up. Also, if your pants has big belt loops, you can skip and jump over those belt loops to make it easier to sew. Then we're going to stitch directly on top of the stitch at the top of the waistband. This is a fairly tricky step, so definitely take your time. After finishing up the stitch, open it up, check all the layers, make sure everything got sewn together. If you did end up missing a section, it's very easy just to dethread that small spot, go back, push the fabric back inwards, and restitch. It's a quicker solution than dethreading the entire lining, realigning, and resewing. Next, we're going to be adding loops at the top so we can connect the straps. There's a few different ways to do this, but for this technique, I'm going to be using leather strips, and I'll be attaching them with double-sided rivets. You can sew these on if you don't have the tools to use double-sided rivets. You also can swap out the leather for scrap fabric from previous steps. We're going to be installing these at the peaks of both sides. And again, I'll be securing them down with double-sided rivets. These are 10mm rivets. You can use any size rivet you want, or you can just sew them on. If you are using rivets, punch a hole through the leather and the waistband, feed the rivet through the opening, and add the backing. Repeat the step for the opposite side of the bag. Punch your hole and feed your rivet through. To secure them down, I'll be using a press. You don't need to use a press, you can use a hammer die or pliers. You really just need enough force to push both sides of the rivets together so it locks it closed. You just don't want to put too much force because you can end up smashing the outside of the rivet. But just like that, the loops are complete and it gives it a nice look if you do use leather. I know I could have utilized the scraps from the bag, but I just really wanted to kick up the design and the look. And small details like this really make the bag look designer in the end. For the moment, we can place the bag off to the side and grab the strip we cut in previous steps. If you didn't have enough material, don't worry, we are going to be making a strap out of webbing in the next step. So feel free to skip ahead if you don't have the material required. What we're going to do is take the strip and fold both sides inward so we have a nice clean edge. The width is really determined on what size hardware you're using. I'm using 1.5 inch width hardware, so I'm going to make my strap 1.5 inches wide. Once you have your strap at the correct width, we're going to add a stitch on both sides of the strap. Feel free to add one directly down the center or 2 more in the center if you would like. The downside with this strap is that it might be a little bit short, so we can't add a strap adjuster. We're just going to be adding 2 lobster clasps to each side. Feed the strap through the opening, roll the end over twice so you have a nice clean edge, and place a pin. Grab the opposite side of the strap and do the same thing. Feed the strap through the opening, roll it over twice, and place a pin. Before you add the stitch, you might want to grab the bag, clip it to the bag, try it on, and see if it's long enough. It's either going to be too short or the perfect size, but the solution to this is making a separate strap out of webbing. And that's what I'm going to show you how to do next. We're going to take that webbing and cut a 2-yard strip. This strap will be adjustable, so we're going to take our strap slider, feed it onto the webbing about 2 feet, add a clasp on the same end, pull slack out of the strap adjuster and feed the webbing end back through the openings from the back opening to the front opening. Roll the webbing end over once and place a pin. Lastly, add the second clasp on the opposite side of the webbing. Roll the end over once and pin it down. Now that we have both straps ready, we're going to add a tack stitch to each one of the folds. As you can see, I have one strap with no adjuster and one strap with the adjuster. This will give you the ability to switch up the size and allow you to wear the bag in different styles. If you do have enough material to add the strap adjuster to the denim side, you can do that too. With both straps complete, clip them onto the loops and try on the bag. If you did go the webbing route and you cut it at 2 yards and it's still too long, all you have to do is dethread the side without the strap adjuster and just cut it down to size. And moving into the final step, that's adding your branding. I use leather strips added with double-sided rivets. There's a lot of different techniques you can use. You can use embroidery, you can screen print, or you can use woven tags. And the cool thing about this bag is that you have a lot of pockets built in, especially if you used cargo pants, because you have those pockets on the inside, you have the pockets on the outside. The other thing you can do is actually add a snap button in the center so that way the bag closes if you would like. You also can utilize the belt loops and feed a belt through there for a whole different look. There's so many different things you can do when it comes to the branding and finishing off the details. So have some fun with it, get creative, and make a bag that's really gonna work for you. And there you have it, your denim shoulder bag is complete. Hopefully yours turned out as good as mine. The trickiest part is putting that lining on the inside and connecting all those parts. If you don't get it right the first time, just try it a couple more times and you'll eventually dial it in. Like always, I wanna see what you come up with, so tag me on Instagram at ProperFitClothing, and until then, I'm gonna keep the videos coming at you, so I'll see you next time.